The second season of the cult series Squid Game was recently released. The ratings of viewers and film experts are ambiguous, and the discussions are becoming more intense every day. Today in our video, we will evaluate each character from Squid Game, starting from the kindest and ending with the most evil and unpleasant. The topic is, of course, controversial, but the gold medal is most deserved by the main character, Sun Ki-hoon, player number 456. And don't get me wrong, he has many flaws too. To start with the obvious, Ki-hoon clearly has a gambling problem, which is what got him into the Squid Game. It also led to him breaking up with his daughter, who now lives in the US with her stepfather and Ki-hoon's ex-wife. But despite all the hardships, he always remained a kind person who showed compassion and care for others. He was an altruist in every sense, but what makes him the kindest character is that despite all the traumatic circumstances he went through in the series, he still returned to the games to end them once and for all. He dedicated himself to protecting other players from danger, and remember that Ki-hoon even risked his life to save a dying teammate with only 30 seconds on the timer. The second place for kindness goes to another contestant from Season 1, A-Lee, player number 199. A-Lee, a hard-working family man, used his powers for good throughout the game. He was a genuinely kind, somewhat naive man who was determined to survive and earn enough to cover all of his family's needs. In doing so, he hurt others, which unfortunately led to his death in the marble game. Literally, Ali's only flaw was that he was too kind-hearted. All he wanted was for his friends and family to be well. The bronze medal of kindness goes to Hyunju, player number 120. She is very kind and helpful. Like Ali, Hyunju uses her power to help others as much as she can. During the game Red Light, Green Light, she helps Ji-hoon save player 444, showing that she is willing to risk her life for others. As a former soldier, she also plays a major role in the rebellion in Episode 7, protecting her allies and taking out many of the guards. Her character is impressive and inspiring, although she does have her flaws, such as her decision to vote to continue the games, despite knowing how scared her friend was to stay in the game. Moving on to the next character, I would like to mention Jun-ho. We know him as a policeman who infiltrated the game to find his brother. Like Ki-hoon, he experienced the horrors of the game firsthand. And it is safe to say that the police would never have found out about the terrible games if it weren't for him. Many were sure that he died in the first season, but his appearance in the second was a pleasant surprise. He uses all his strength to find the island where the games are held. His goal is to save Gi-hoon and the other players. There is no denying that Jun-ho is a hero, but we have to take off a few points for not revealing the frontman's identity. It is clear that he is his brother, but after all, he did shoot him. This does not call his character into question, but it knocks him out of the top 3. I also can't help but mention Yang Geum-ja, player number 149 in the list of good people. This woman joined the games to pay off her adult son's debts, which characterizes her as a very caring mother. Despite her fear, she has proven herself to be one of the most decent and empathetic people in the games. She has become a pillar of support for Jun-hee and Hyunju, gradually accepting the latter's personality and becoming a source of care and comfort for the former during one of the most difficult periods of her life. Her only downside is that she is sometimes not very tactful. Now we move on to the neutral zone. These characters are more good than evil, but they have more flaws than the previous group. The first character in this zone is Kang Se-byuk, player 067. She is one of the most iconic figures in the show, and for good reason. Se-byuk is a North Korean refugee who grew up in a climate of violence and endless fear. When she managed to escape with her younger brother, she dedicated herself to earning enough money to regain custody of him and bring her mother to the south. Despite having a good reason to participate in the game, Se-byuk remains one of the toughest contestants. This extends to her life before the games. She is also quite capable of resorting to stealing, as we saw with Ki-hoon when she stole from him during a dire financial situation. However, none of her actions are motivated by malice. She simply wants to survive and provide a better future for her family. We see Se-byuk helping Ki-hoon remember the correct order to jump on the glass tiles, as well as stopping him from eliminating Sang-woo after this round. Next up is Park Young-sik, player number 7. He is the son of player 149. His gambling debts were so high that they not only forced him to participate, but also forced his elderly mother to do the same. This guy is probably the most childish character of the season. Despite this, he does have some good qualities, such as his willingness to help his mother through the competition. However, his willingness to vote to continue the games, despite putting his mother in danger, is what lowered him in our rankings. Next up, we have Kang Dae-ho, player 388. This former Marine joined Gi-hoon's team and quickly became friends with Jong-bae based on their war experiences. He can be described as a friendly and kind-hearted person, always willing to help. Despite literally shaking in fear, he was willing to risk his life during the final rebellion to get more ammunition for his allies. However, due to a panic attack, he eventually ran away and hid with the ammunition. Next on our list is Lee Myung-gi, a 333 player, crypto YouTuber, and Joon-hee's ex-boyfriend. His mistakes resulted in the loss of a whopping $15 billion, as the cryptocurrency he was promoting turned out to be a dud. It's clear that he's not a model citizen, but he does have some decency. He genuinely feels remorse for messing up his relationship with Joon-hee and sincerely apologizes to her. He also stood up for Min-soo during the toilet fight and ultimately defeated Thanos. And now, it's time to move on to a rather controversial but extremely interesting character. We are, of course, talking about Han Min-yo, player 212. Yes, she is rude and cunning, but she is not exactly a villain. She is a woman who is simply trying to survive by any means possible. She has two main skills: instigation and seduction. Her approach has not been very successful, but she uses her intelligence to befriend strong players. And when her unfortunate love interest, Deok-soo, betrays her, she fulfills her promise to eliminate him by throwing herself and him into the glass slab test. This act was motivated by hatred and revenge, but by killing Deok-soo, she unknowingly helped Ji-hoon, Sang-woo, and Sae-byuk. You can feel differently about Min-yo, but the fact is that she is not a clearly cruel and evil character. Next up on our list is Byung-ki, player number 111. You probably remember this corrupt doctor who agreed to help the soldiers in exchange for information about the games. Obviously, this is a heinous act, and his willingness to do so shows his cowardly and evil nature. However, in reality, he was simply using his skills to survive in these terrible conditions. He never tried to harm his opponents, only tried to prolong his existence in any way. When he suspected that the staff was deceiving him, he attacked them in a fit of anger and panic. Now, we come to the darker and more interesting part: the villains. These characters represent the most immoral participants in the game. We will start with Sang-woo, player number 218. Sang-woo is one of the most complex characters in the series. Despite being the main antagonist of the first season, his actions are not entirely villainous. He is a childhood friend of Kai-hoon, a graduate of Seoul National University with a brilliant career, which he ruined by embezzling funds from others. This led to financial ruin and forced him to participate in the games to protect his mother from the consequences of his bad decisions. However, in his quest to atone for his mistakes, Sang-woo caused more trouble. Although he was a compassionate person by nature, such as giving Ali the money for the bus and checking on player 271 after Deok-soo's attack, some negative traits marred his true character. In the marble game, Sang-woo cheated Ali, which effectively became his death sentence. And most outrageously, he eliminated Sae-byuk when she was already bleeding out, just to ease his way to the final games. Despite his desperate desire to survive, most of his actions can be seen as necessary evil rather than his ruthless nature. Next, we move on to the charlatan Song-nyo, contestant number 44. She is a very dubious psychic, but she instantly sensed that Gi-hoon came to the games because of vengeful spirits, which is true in a way. However, she regularly threatens people and acts arrogantly. She almost never leaves her high-up bed, and also prays for all her former allies to die because they betrayed her. The real star of the second season was Thanos, player 230. Thanos is a popular rapper who has demonstrated narcissistic traits on more than one occasion. He is not the main villain, but Thanos is still an impulsive character with minimal moral principles. He cold-bloodedly got rid of several people in the game, red light, green light. He was also one of the most ardent supporters of continuing the games in order to get as much money as possible, and was always ready to get into a fight with anyone who was against him. Thanos perfectly played the role of a character who was even pleasant to hate. But the title of the most annoying side player this season goes to contestant number 100. He insists on continuing the game, claiming that the fewer participants, the bigger the prize pool. Every time he appears on screen, he complains about the need to continue the game so that he can earn as much money as possible. Now let's move on to the top 5, and we'll start with the recruiter, of course. He returns in Season 2, and we get to see his past. This guy isn't just a slave to the system, he's a real sadist who enjoys playing with poor people, convincing them that the only way out is to participate in a deadly game. In Season 2, we learned that he was once a participant in the games himself, and at one point he came across his own father, whom he eliminated without hesitation, and was even proud of it. Next up is Season 1 contestant Oh Il-nam, player 001. As it turns out, Il-nam was a truly terrifying villain, whose wealth had grown so much that he became bored with life, so he came to create survival games. This old man had been ruining thousands of lives for years, using them as toys for a bunch of rich people who had fun betting on their lives. When he got bored of just watching the game, he decided to join in on the fun himself. Moving on to the third position, Doc Soo, player 101. This character is probably the most vile of them all. He attacked 271 for trying to take more food than he was supposed to, and he didn't hide his joy when he was declared eliminated. He even laughed when player 69 eliminated himself, and his last vile act was cowardice in the glass slab game. He refused to move forward until the other players checked which slab he could step on. Doc Soo also got real pleasure from causing pain and suffering, and he only teamed up with those who were useful to him. But as soon as they became unnecessary, he easily got rid of them. Now let's talk about the frontman, the host, who gets a silver medal for his evil deeds. Putting him so low is both logical and unfair, because the host is a character who needs more development to establish whether he is evil incarnate or just a broken man. But despite his past, we can't deny the facts. He is the one who runs the games, caters to VIPs, and dooms countless people, and explains it all with the most ridiculous excuses. He even shot his own brother. The host himself went through these games, so he knew exactly what was going on, but he still continued to organize them. In the second season, he worsens his reputation by acting as the #1 player and working side by side with Ki-hoon. It can be concluded that the host is definitely a villain, and probably no facts about him in the next season will save him from this category. But it is assumed that he initially joined the game to pay for his wife's treatment, which gives some hint to his humanity. Well, the real villains of the series are the VIPs. They are the embodiment of moral degradation. Their main trait is gluttony, because their only motive is the thirst for pleasure. The lives of the participants are nothing to them, and besides, they are never satisfied with the spectacle. The VIPs watch as people are driven like cattle and treat their subordinates like worthless, openly harassing their employees. These people are completely devoid of morals, and therefore they are awarded the first place among the villains. Whatever your list of the kindest and most sinister, write your opinion in the comments, and that's all for me.